Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be baking something inspired by Peter Pan, but instead of focusing on the character of Peter Pan, I wanted to focus more on the character of Captain Hook and the other pirates because when I was growing up I always just really loved Captain Hook and the pirates. So what I was thinking is we're going to make cookies. We're going to have JollyRogers in the middle of the cookies for the JollyRoger, and then we're going to have frosting on the top for the present that he gives Peter with the bomb inside. So we're going to start by sifting flour into this bowl, and sometimes the significance of sifting is to kind of make sure all of the big chunks are out, and that you really just have really fine. So I'll try to show you. So here you can kind of see, I don't know if you can see, but there are like more clumps versus in here it's just a very, very fine powder. So I'm just going to kind of push it through and you can see it's coming out very, very thin. So we're just going to do that to all of the flour first. So see, now that we're done, there's a little bit left at the bottom that's all of the clumps that are too big to go through. So that's kind of why we sifted, just to make sure that we got those out, because we want to have just the really, really fine sifted flour. So we're going to do the same with just a little bit of salt and baking powder. So now we're just going to put this bowl aside for now, and we're going to get an identical bowl. And we're just going to mix a lot of sugar and a cup of butter, aka 2 sticks of butter. So we definitely want the butter to be softened butter because that'll give us the nice texture that we're looking for. So it's really important. I pulled out all of this butter last night, but it's really important to have softened butter, not melted butter. But we also want to make sure that it is really soft. Definitely either leave it out overnight or leave it out for a couple hours before you start baking, because it really will have an impact on the result. So the butter should combine very easily with the sugar because it is softened. So we're going to kind of just create like a kind of so it's like almost spreadable because the butter is so soft. It kind of just very easily kind of, there's sugar on the floor now. Creates that spread, so we just want to kind of do that just to incorporate the sugar with it until it's kind of all soft. So now, for the most part, I'm going to be very careful. It's mostly combined now, so it shouldn't just fall like that. But so for the most part, the sugar is combined with the butter now. It's kind of just like it's spreadable. So now we're going to add 2 eggs one at a time and kind of just incorporate them into the sugar and butter. Oh, it's gonna be awesome. So now we're just gonna add a little bit of vanilla extract. And then we're going to, whoops, just threw the Tupperware in the trash. It's fine. Okay, so now is when we needed a bigger bowl, because I made both in the exact same size bowl, and now we're going to combine them. But I'm sure it'll be fine. So we're just going to gradually add the sifted dry ingredients to the other ingredients, and then make sure it's all combined. This is going to be interesting because I don't want stuff flying. Alright, so now the dough is combined, and now it's going to go in the fridge for a couple hours before we roll it out and cook it. So I will be back when the dough is ready. So now we're back, and I have preheated the oven, or the oven is preheating right now. So I'm going to roll up the dough and then cut it into circles. I guess any shape, but I'm doing circles. So ideally, this is all going to be like one dough. I kind of crumbled it when I was taking it out of the bowl, so hopefully it just like, hopefully that's just fine. Become one dough. Also, I'm terrible at like rolling out a dough consistently. Like, it's never like the same thickness all the way through, which is like not the greatest for this type of cookie. Or it's not great for like anything really, but like especially cookies, it just makes it rather hard. But I think this is gonna be good. So I am going to start cutting them out. I'm going to put them on baking sheets. I'm using these mats that I love. So I just put those in the baking sheet. And I'm just going to put the cookies on top of those, so those are prepared over here. We might have to do it in 2 batches depending on how many cookies I make, but I hope that I can get them relatively small. But we'll see what I have to use that I can use as a cookie cutter. This is technically a donut cutter, but I think I'm going to try to use this because I think that's like a relatively good size. So I'm going to try to use this just to cut the cookies out. So hopefully this works. Oh, that works perfectly. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so I can feel where like some areas are still like a little bit thicker than others, but like at this point, like I'm not going to re-roll the ones that I've just cut. So, whoops. Oh, that's fine. I'll just. Okay, so we're still gonna have like. I feel like this is like a good shape for like one cookie, but we're gonna like layer them, so that's gonna be like a little bit big, but like I think it's still gonna be fine. So I think I only want to do green Jolly Ranchers because I'm thinking of the scene where Captain Hook kidnaps Tinkerbell, brings her to the JollyRoger, and then devises the plan to bring the present that is the bomb to Peter. So I'm thinking I'm going to do green to represent the JollyRoger Jolly Ranchers. I have a very large bag of Jolly Ranchers that are not going to get eaten, but I'm thinking of ways that I can bake with the leftover ones because I'm definitely going to have a lot. But I think for this one, I'm just going to use the green ones. So I'm going to take this out, take the wrappers off, and then put them in a bag to try to mash up with my rolling pin. Okay, so I'm just going to start with this. I'm going to take the wrappers off, shove that in the bag. I'm just going to do this with as many green Jolly Ranchers as I can find, but I also don't want to spend like all day sifting through this very massive bag. But I'm just going to get as many green Jolly Ranchers as I can find, and then I'll crush them. We're just going to start with this because I want to get the first tray in the oven. So we're going to see how this goes. We're just going to kind of So I think that's small enough. Now I'm going to get the cookie tray and then just sprinkle just a couple of these crumbs onto half of the cookies. So I'm just going to put a little bit because I'm not entirely sure. I don't want them to melt like, I want it to be, I want it to like cover the whole surface, but I don't know how much it's going to spread, so I don't want it to like completely engulf the cookie. I still want like the cookie to be like the main like taste here. So I think I'm just doing like a small to medium pinch for like all of them, and trying to get some of the smaller pieces instead of like the bigger chunks, in the hopes that it'll just kind of spread over just the cookie and not really the entire world. Okay, so I think these are ready. I mean, some of them have a little bit more than others, but maybe like after this tray I can see for the next 2 trays how this is gonna go. But I'm going to go ahead and put these in the oven for about 8 minutes. That's usually like a good cookie time. And going to keep working on rolling out the dough and putting Jolly Ranchers on the rest of them. But we'll be back when they're all out of the oven. Alright, so we are back, and I have 3 cooling racks of cookies. The first batch, as you see, did not have enough Jolly Rancher at all, but by the 3rd batch I kind of got it to almost spread over the whole thing, but that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer them by putting just a little bit of, I made some pink buttercream frosting, and I'm just going to put a little bit between the 2 cookies just so that they stay together, and then on the top of the plain one I'm just going to make a little bow looking thing or something. So I'm going to go back down to the counter, and I'm going to just start going to do a little dollop just to, actually that might have been a little too much, keep them together. I'm just going to bind them and then just make it look like a present of some sort or another, or maybe I'll just I think the bow, a knife is not a good tool to make a bow out of, so maybe I will just pink the whole thing. Okay, so just enough to keep them together, and then just a light layer of pink frosting on top. Now I chose pink because that is the color of the present that Captain Hook sent Peter Pan. It had a big pink like ribbon on the top. So essentially we have the Jolly Rancher with Tink hidden inside in this beautiful pink present for Peter Pan. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish these, and then it's time to taste them. Okay, so now I have, put together all of the little cookies, and I'm back with my brother, and we are going to try them. Do you want me to explain what's in them, or do you just want to?
Yes.
Okay.
Explain while I eat.
Explain while you eat. Okay. So it's a sugar cookie.
Mm-hmm.
With Jolly Rancher cooked on one of them, and then buttercream frosting holding them together, and, well, kind of holding them together, and then on the top. The Jolly Rancher is for the JollyRoger. And I tried to make them thin so it wasn't like a big thing, but it looks like it still is kind of a little big thing. But and the green is for Tinkerbell, and then the pink frosting is because that's the color of the package that Captain Hook sent to Peter Pan with the bomb inside. And thus. So what do you think?
Ooh.
So I do taste the Jolly Rancher in the middle,
yeah,
which is good, right?
Yeah, I like that flavor.
Yeah. And, I mean,
It does kind of feel like you're trying to eat through 2 cookies because
Mm-hmm.
you are, but I tried to make them thin. But, I mean, I don't think they're too big, right? Not too big. Ashley's making a mess of my kitchen, but she also approves. So thanks for watching, and if you liked it, subscribe or give it the thumbs up or whatever people do on YouTube. I still don't really know. Come back every Monday for new videos.